Hey guys, Bob here. So I finally had a chance to watch the last Blockbuster on Netflix. Now I know it's technically not a movie; it's a documentary, but I wanted to touch on it because it touches on something that I hold near and dear, and that is physical media. And the documentary did a great job of talking about how there are two things that you get with going to a actual video store that you don't get just by going around on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu or whatever. Number one, you go for an experience. There's something that movie lovers or TV show lovers of a certain generation got to do. As part of it, you went to the store and you picked up the DVD or the video, or I'm sure in some of the cities they had laser discs. You picked them up and you looked at them, and it was you had something tangible. It was real. Part of the appeal was looking at the cover and reading the back description and thinking, "Oh, that looks awesome. I need to watch that." And that made me think a lot of my childhood, and even as recently as my college years. I'm going to age myself here. I'm in my early 30s, and there were still video stores rampant around the time that I was in college, and that was part of it. You'd go see what movie you were going to rent, and it was a lot of fun, and it was something you and your buddies could go, "Oh, look at this one! Have you seen this one? This one's awesome!" or "This looks cool!" or and that's something that this hits upon, is that there's an experience to it. It's not just something that you can replicate with just flipping around on with your remote on your smart device watching Netflix. And of course, it touched on the fact that it is something physical. And to me, in the middle of the Midwest, and I know if you're watching this in the thriving metropolis, it's going to be hard to believe. Internet service is terrible out here. My brother, who's a very enthusiastic gamer, cusses to no end when he's trying to play something online because it will cut out. It is bad. And there are days when you can stream Netflix and it looks okay, but it's never going to be as good as watching a Blu-ray or a 4K disc. Now, with that being said, we're some of the lucky ones. We actually have internet. I know my father-in-law doesn't have internet where he lives, and it isn't an option where he lives to have internet. Now, I don't want to hear anyone say that it's because he's, my father-in-law, and he's old and out of touch, and he just doesn't have it. He has internet at his business he owns. That is an option he has. But that does him no good on when he's closed on weekends, or when he's not at work. That does him no good. But it brought me back. The documentary, the thing I liked about this one is it brought me back, 15 years or so, and made me think about how much fun it was looking through a video store, looking at the rentals, or actually it's getting harder and harder to find actual physical brick and mortar movie stores. So I'm afraid a time will come when it gets to the point where the big superstore, super selection type things. Walmart's probably always going to have a batch of new releases, or the local Best Buy really doesn't have much to look at. They will have the new releases, and that's it. They literally have no backlog in that one, and the employee said all Best Buys were doing that, but if you go to one of them in Kansas City, they have more of a selection. So, but I'm afraid as more people get hooked with the digital and the convenience of it, that we're going to lose the in-person experience of going to a store and looking for a movie, picking up a cover, thinking, that looks good, that looks awesome, I want to buy it, or in the documentary's case, rent it. And this documentary did a good job of hitting on that. Now, the documentary itself follows the manager of the last Blockbuster, and it's located in Bend, Oregon. And it tells about the history of Blockbuster and how, you know, it rose. And at one time, the new Blockbuster opened every 17 hours, and there were over 9,000 of them, and all that stuff that can be, you know, all the history of the organization. And then about the time of the financial crisis in '08, it just kind of died off. And there were more factors leading to it other than Netflix and other than all that stuff. And it was how management, I'm not going to get into all that, but the documentary did a great job of hitting on that. And it talked to several celebrities, Kevin Smith, let's see, who are these? Adam Brody. And there's several others that talked about going to the video store and how much of an experience it meant to them. And also talked to several Bend, Oregon residents and how much, you know, going to the video store means to them. But I did feel the documentary could have been a little shorter. It dragged on a little bit in a couple spots. But for the most part, I appreciate this documentary tremendously because of what it does for, it's a retrospective, and it makes you feel nostalgic about the fun times you had going with your buddies to the video store. So my recommendation is to check it out. I'm going to give it a B rating. It does a great job for all the nostalgia reasons. Like I say, could have been a little shorter, but that's probably what a lot of people say about my reviews. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Stay safe, everyone out there. And until next time, this is Bob, signing off.